Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are dialing in around the world. Welcome to our weekly World Game call for all of our mentors, which is our weekly training call with Roger and the team. And this week we are moving from last week. Roger went through the 3 different types of brand that you can have: your personal brand, your company brand, and your product brand. And today he's going to be focusing very specifically on what you can do to really build your personal brand. So today we're getting into the detail of the personal brand, and we're going to be working on the detail of the product brand and the company brand as we come up in the next couple of weeks as well. So I know Roger's going to be joining us very soon. There he is. He's just joined us. Hey, Roger, how you going?
Yeah, very good.
Good. Nice to see you. So just giving everyone an update on where we are with the World Game right now. By the way, this is our chat as usual. So you can go ahead and type in where you are dialing in from. So we can see who's on the call, and you can pop your questions and your comments in the chat there as well. We're going to be moving this and changing it because we now have the ability to actually post the Google Hangouts within the discussion. So we're going to be doing that this week as well. So from next week, we'll actually be running our call from the thread as opposed to up here, which will be quite, because this is actually a welcome video for the circle. And you've got your welcome page. So this is actually going to be moving from next week. So we'll be doing that next week, but you can use this for the last time today. Just click on the blue button on the new comments available to refresh your page as usual. And congratulations to those people who made it onto our awards page for round 4. Super well done. So Diane, 33,333 impacts. That's amazing. Well done, Diane. I'm seeing you a lot now on our leaderboard. And to Vanessa, who did the most number of impacts on different occasions. She did 32 different impacts on 6 different occasions during the month. So it looks like Vanessa's really been tying her giving impacts to her revenues, which is awesome. And as soon as companies is allowed to do that in this next week, you'll be able to go and do that on your companies as well. And welcome to Anna Choi, who joined the World Game just last month and already has made the biggest improvement in her impacts already and got herself to position number 9. Auckland City Circle, who has got the circle with the highest giving impacts per member. So they've got some really active people within their circle, which is pretty awesome. And a brand new circle, Promotion Planathon, which is Uta Lambrecht's circle, came on board just last month. And Uta was very busy getting everyone learning how to run promotions, using Genius U and running her webinars on here and getting lots of people into her circle. So she is has the best newcomer circle, which is pretty awesome as well. So well done to everyone who made it onto our awards board. And the ranking is open for round 5. I see it has already started. I see we've got a new person in first position again. Guys, you got to stop letting him be at number 1 here. Come on, what's happening? But the good news is we've got over 600,000 impacts as a result. So thank you, Roger, for taking us over the 600,000. But come on, everyone, let's see who is going to be beating Roger to pole position this month. All right, so Roger, I just told everyone that we're going to be focusing on the I'm going to stop my screen share. We're going to be focusing on the personal brand side of the 3 brands we talked about last week. So I'm going to hand over to you.
All right. Fab. All right. Hi, everyone. So just to let everyone know, I just came back from Taiwan where we had a record Entrepreneur Fast Track. We ran Entrepreneur Fast Track for the first time in January. We had a test one in Brisbane at the end of last year, and then it's really been 1 year. And they just keep on getting bigger and better. And it was our first trip to China in years. And there's just this pent-up demand of all these people bringing all these books in that were all in Chinese. I think some were even fake ones, and they were like, "Oh, it's like Roger Hamilton's here," and like people were traveling in from like Beijing and all places, and now want to take us back into China as well. And it was just amazing, and it actually is a really, really good like introduction to what we're going to talk about, which is personal brand, right? Because on the last call, I talked about the 3 different types of brands, which was personal brand, product brand, and company brand. And how Genius U is designed in such a way that you can maximize all 3. So while we talked about the whole concept of the 3 and how you actually need different pages, like you see all our pages, depending on what we're asking for someone to do, we'll direct them to a different page. The personal brand is all about conversation. So your personal site should be about conversation. Your company brand should all be about credibility. It's like, is there credibility in that brand that people look at and go, okay, this is something I should be part of. And then obviously every product brand, every product site, it should have its own landing page. And that's all about conversion. So Amazon isn't one page. Like no one goes to an Amazon homepage. There is no Amazon homepage, right? Everyone's got their own personal homepage. And then there are all these product pages where every single product page, people directly to it. If you look at any Amazon ad, it's never an Amazon ad to Amazon, right? It's an Amazon ad to a particular product. And then every one of those products then is about conversion, right? So credibility, conversation, conversion, understanding the three of them and how they link together, and knowing that as we go through how you set up products on the web store, that's all about the conversion, right? That's all about making money by people wanting to buy that product. When we do that for events already, every event has got its own landing page, which basically makes you want to go to that page. And similarly, at the company level, what your company is and making that company have credibility is critical, or else you can never actually get away from selling your time. If you're just a mentor or trainer and it's just your name, and there's nothing bigger which you can house products under, then you can never grow it and you can never build a team around it. Now, to start with, you can always use someone else's company brand, right? Like many of you use Entrepreneurs Institute, right? Or you use a product brand like Talent Dynamics or Wealth Dynamics, which is absolutely fine, because then you're leveraging on something that's already known, and then they get to know who you are. As long as you've got a specific brand which is different, that makes all the difference. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to do two things, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how to build a product brand, right? And then how to use Genius U to accelerate that product brand as well, right? And you can do all these things in the next week. So already by the time we get to next week and then we actually take the next step, you're ready for that as well, right? That's the first thing. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to share a little bit more macro around what we're currently doing, because we've actually got a number of our board meetings, our board of advisor meeting of Genius U, our impact investor meeting tomorrow, and some of the things we're preparing at the moment for what things are going to look like by the end of this year, especially all of you who are coming along for our conference, what we're building towards, right? Because you've been hearing us building towards this thing. We're making it more and more physical and real. And I'm going to share a bit about that as well so you can see how that works. But let me first of all share my screen here. So here is the whole concept around brand, first of all. And I'm just using myself as a guinea pig. This is what personal brand should look like once you've been doing it for a few years. So I've just typed in my name. I just Googled my name, right? You go and just try Googling your name, right? So I've Googled my name, and look how Google presents me. Now, by the way, there's lots of other Rogers out there, maybe not a lot of Roger James Hamiltons, but you notice here that even if I just type in Roger Hamilton, I'm getting something very similar, right? That Google's smart enough to figure it's the same guy, right? So there's lots of Roger Hamiltons out there. If I go to Facebook looking for them, there's millions of them, right? But you see this one is very similar to this one, right? In fact, I think it's almost exactly the same. Okay, like this one's got Facebook higher up, but other than that, it's pretty similar. But if we look at all the different things that are on here, like they picked up the Wikipedia article which is on here, they picked up the Facebook page, they picked up my personal page at the top, they figured out what's actually most important hierarchy-wise. They've given photos on this side over here, right? They've actually said available on YouTube, Spotify. They've gone through like details about who I am and stuff like that as well. They got my age right. I mean, like it's all in here, right? And then you've also got like the books and everything, the profiles on Twitter. Right, and so this all here, you can, and then even the Amazon page is on here to buy stuff on Amazon. So one of our goals is to make sure Genius U shows up here as well, right? So we've got some work to do to make sure that happens, but then everyone's branding will show up here too. But you can see here all these other elements. They see what was the number one thing people search for as Lance Roger Hamilton's wife. That's hilarious. And then there's other bits in here as well, right? What's Roger Hamilton? Books, net worth, then wife again, then Bali, then wife again, and okay. So all these things that people are actually looking for, you find out when you actually go out building a personal brand. Now, if you haven't built much of a personal brand, don't expect to see your name here. There's probably someone more famous that's got their name up here, right? But that doesn't mean at any point you can't build it higher. So when people are saying, "Is this a real dude?" And so I like every time, like, why is this valuable? Every time I ever call anyone for a meeting, every time I'm speaking to someone for the first time or someone's referring me for the first time, guess what the other person does who doesn't know me? They Google me, right? That's the first thing people will do. And what they see will be their first impression. So there used to be a time when first impression was when you meet someone. No longer. First impression is something you cannot control because it doesn't happen when you're there unless you've built a personal brand, in which case you can control it, right? In the same way that right now, by me just going out there and spreading the word and doing it consistently, it then builds up in this way as well, all right? Now, you don't need to have your own page, but it is really worth it if you really want to build yourself up as someone that is going to be known for your products and for your companies in the future. Richard Branson has his own page. Elon Musk does not have his own page. So actually deciding whether you're going to have your own page or not is really up to you. I recommend you do, and it's very easy to actually set one up. And linking that then to your Genius page is going to be really important. But this is about the conversation where people can go and look and say, who's this guy, right? I mean, if they go say, is anyone following him or anyone know him? it's like, oh, he's got 1 million followers, then it means that he's actually somebody, right? Like, you know, are people liking his stuff? Are they posting on his stuff, right? They can see all that stuff, right? So is he posting stuff? Like October, he's active. So being really, really aware that people are looking at these kind of things in terms of actually saying, are they part of that conversation, is really important. But you'll see that if I look at my Twitter, this is as much as you can do, right? Social entrepreneur, public speaker, founder, that's pretty much it. Very similar to here, right? You know, future social entrepreneur, same thing, because you've got consistency. And very often people will go look at LinkedIn. Same thing is happening here as well, a social entrepreneur and so on, right? So you know, you're getting all this info in here, plus you posting articles and things that go in here as well is really important to do. And again, not because you want people to follow you for the sake of following you, you're doing it to build social proof, connections. And I actually will use something like Twitter much more not to be posting about other people, but connecting to people I want to connect to, right? And so that will be the way I would go about using it. But the fact that you're out there and then people start following you is actually really important as well. Let's have a look at something like that, like Twitter compared to GeniusU. So so let's go to my profile. So obviously your #1 place is going to be your profile. And when you're on your profile here, it's designed in such a way that it links you. Like if I'm Twitter, I can't easily find my way to Facebook, right? If I'm on Facebook, I can't find my way easily to Twitter. On GeniusU, you can easily find yourself to all of these things, provided you put them in here. So you've got my Twitter here. I can just click straight on Twitter or Facebook, and it takes me straight to my Facebook page. And so it makes it much, much easier to be able to actually get a view of this person. You click on the web page, it takes me straight to my Roger Hamilton page, right? So each one of these is actually giving you on each one of these a really clear picture. Plus, of course, I've actually got myself in here, you know, as a mentor at investor level, right? Social entrepreneur futurist, the same thing. So you're seeing these in the other areas as well. But this is where reviews becomes really important, right? So actually designing your reviews in here becomes really key. And then from here as well, the fact that you've got your purpose, your passions, your genius, that allows people to actually say, oh, this person's actually really active in these areas. And clearly this is very different from what you get in either Twitter or LinkedIn, where people have no idea about who you are. Whereas this already tells you so much more, quality education, passions, it tells you so much more about who this person is as well. So by actually building up your profile in a way, and as we link this to your products, to your company, that makes life a whole lot easier as well, because people will be checking in to say, who is this person and how do they link to others as well? Now, the other thing is that obviously, as you're going down here, you'll see even things like giving impacts are all on here. And then also you've got all of the events you've just been to. So, you know, here's all different events, you know, that have taken place, friends and things like that, mentor friends, and then all of these different reviews. And you know, the easiest way to get reviews on people is leave reviews for other people, right? Some of them will reciprocate to you as well. And knowing that every time you're doing this, you're getting Genius dollars anyway. But of course, this then also leads to basically how you become discoverable. Like if you're on Twitter or Facebook, very difficult to become discoverable in those. Whereas here, as a mentor, very easy, because people go looking at the mentor side. And it's amazing how many people do, by the way, right? So basically on the mentor side, by seeing everyone on here, clearly you've actually got, you know, different people with their actual details. And you'll see now that what's happened on here is you've actually got mentors, right? Where you can filter and sort, like by anything that you're actually going on here to actually find the right people on here as well. I think they've just messed around with the rankings here because it's starting from 192 now, 193. Okay, the rankings are all over the place right now. But basically, if you actually come down to this and you say, okay, you want to sort it, this one should be sorted by rank. But if you, okay, it's ranked the right way now, right? So you can see that, you know, if it's actually sorted correctly in terms of the people that are coming on board and how they are, then you find out where you're at. But it might be sorted by other things, right? Someone might be looking at activity, right? Like who's actually generating the most activity on the site at the moment. And you can see Tina's #1. She's the one that's generated the most. Then there's Vanessa, right? Then it's Diane, and then it's Rosemarin. So it's tracking based on activity as well now of who out there is being busiest, right? And so this becomes a really, really valuable thing for people to find out who you are, the things that you're up to, like what your profile is. And if you start building the concept of your personal brand, not just entering information here, but the concept of this is how people are going to see my credibility, and I can then pass people to GeniusU to show this is who I am, that becomes like super valuable for people to actually know who you are when they go checking you out as well. And again, in terms of messages and so on, all the time there are people who are posting to me, you know, like, you know, hi, how do I book you as a mentor? Like different people who are always posting different things that are in here as well, right? And so it's really, really, really important that as you're going forward, that you're actually looking for, you know, the interaction in the conversation, which is what GeniusU does really, really well as well. Okay, so off the back of all of this, But I think I've shared enough for you to get why it's so important to build a profile, and why the end point of it is you show up at the top of GeniusU, and then eventually you show up at the top of Google, that this allows you to always have a place to be, regardless of what you're doing. I don't know in 20 years if I'm still going to have the same businesses and still going to have the same products. I'm very sure everything will evolve to a better form. But I'll still have my personal brand, right? It's always going to be there. So it becomes much more important for you to build your personal brand than your company brand or your product brand. It's the most important thing. In fact, just as an experience of this, if I go to Twitter and I look for Virgin Group, right? Let's just go look for Virgin. Here's Virgin, right? You go to Twitter and you go to Virgin, you got 238,000 people following Virgin, right? 238,000. If I go here and I look for Richard Branson, here's Richard Branson. Think 238,000 compared to 12.5 million, right? Now his company is Virgin, right? But the fact is he's not that interested. People aren't interested in following Virgin. They're interested in following the person. So be really aware that even if you've got a great company, you've got great products, it's not going to be about them following the product. It's going to be about them following you personally. And so you want to be really thinking about that and knowing that you're going to always have that halo effect on any business you start, the more you build your personal brand as you go as well. Okay, I wanted to share a second thing. Well, first of all, just on this one, I'll just stop sharing for a second and just come to you, Michelle, just to ask if there was anything you wanted to ask me to clarify on, or any questions you had.
No, I don't think so. I'm just checking if we've got it. Oh, sorry, I've got to play back. Just checking. I don't see any questions coming through yet, but no, that all looks pretty clear.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I'll continue. Great. All right. Then I will go on to the second part of what I want to share is how all this links to you really thinking about 2019, because this is what we're spending a lot of time on right now. It's really planning out all of 2019, what we want 2019 to look like for us and for our community, and what tools we want to put in place and what we want to do to structure things forward. So for example, we know we've got this big tour happening in America in like January, February, and we've got all these partnerships we're setting up. That's a large part of next year is what happens in America. China, another big area, where as we grow the places where we already are in the UK, Europe, Australia, we're seeing growth in all these other areas as well. And a large part of what we're doing is really making sure we have the right products and the right structure that we're using GeniusU to be able to grow to that next level. So we see ourselves growing by another 50% Entrepreneurs Institute, which means we're going to be doing well over $10 million next year in just the Entrepreneur Institute company. That's just the personal brand side. That's just my mentoring, the training that we're doing, separate from GeniusU growing. And GeniusU should be at $50 million next year. Entrepreneur Resorts should be at $40 million next year. It'll be $100 million for all of these different valuation of different companies put together. And each one is then impacting over 1 million people each. So we've got, like, again, that whole kind of like multiply by 10 whatever money you want to make, right? So if you're actually there and say, well, I want to impact 10 million people, right? Whether you can be making $100 million, right? You want to impact 1 million people, or then maybe you'll make $10 million. So depending on how many people you want to impact will then determine how much income you're going to actually be able to make off the back of it. And actually thinking in that way, rather than just thinking, how do I make the money? Start by who do you want to impact is really the first step. And one of the bigger things that we're going to do next year, just so you know from our side, is we're going to be branding the process of the impact meter. So I'm going to be coming up with my book next year. It was meant to be this year, but I kind of delayed it. So 10 Times Your Impact will be coming out, where we'll be showing people how do you actually get from level 1 to level 2 business. Like if you've got one customer, how do you actually get to 10, and show the exact process to do it. So something like building your brand is really what you need to do. You don't have to do that to a level 2 business, right? You don't need a strong brand because it's all still personal word of mouth. But the moment you go from 10 to 100, you need to build your personal brand. So what I've just been showing there will be part of what we call impact dynamics, which is the way to 10 times your impact. It's a structure where we'll actually be able to give to a company or to a person, here's the things to go from 10 customers to 100, right? Or from 100 to 1,000 is like green level stuff. It's like put your culture in place. And we're going to be training up our flow consultants and performance consultants at different levels to be able to actually implement these in a company. And I want to be in a situation where 6 months from now, when I'm on stage, I'm not saying, hey, come to iLab, or come to Masters, or come to one of the programs that I'm running, because those will just naturally fill anyway, as they are at the moment. I'd be saying, hey, you're in London. Here's 5 or 6 of our top trainers in London. If you're right now a level 3 business doing 100 customers and you want to get to level 4, 1,000 customers, take one of them on for their 6-month program, where they will take you through how to move from that one level to the next level. And they'll use all these resources to do it. And they'll come to your office and they'll work with your team. And we'll really start supporting them and growing that way. So we know there's going to be a lot of you as mentors that we're going to be calling on because we just don't have the bandwidth to do this. And we're seeing this growth happen far higher than we're actually able to manage it ourselves. So with that in mind, what GeniusU is all about is really making sure that we've got all the right tools that actually help us to ensure that everyone who is a mentor can really focus on what they're going to do best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and share with you some of the kind of behind the scenes things. We're going to be giving much more of this detail when we are at our conference, right? So there's going to be a lot more of this taking place when you come out to Bali and meet us. But one thing which I just, wrong slide here. Let me get this one. Where is it? I think it is. I think there's one of these here actually. Maybe I had it open separate. Here it is. Okay. If you look at a company like Mindbody, which I mentioned before, they're like a $2 billion business that does this for the mindfulness and wellness industry, right? So it's like them saying, look, you got into wellness not because you wanted to run a business and have to balance your books. You got into it because you really care about people's health. So we want to actually make it easy for you. We're going to build your marketing side. We're going to build, like your apps for you. Make sure you get your payments done in time. We're going to you get your scheduling done. We'll do all that stuff for you so you can just get on with what you actually should be getting on with, right? Amazon does the same thing. It's like you want to make money. We're going to show you how you can actually start selling and making money fast, right? This is their Amazon services side where you actually build yourself up with how you actually start the store, and it goes through how you do it. You want to sell Kindle stuff, here's how you do it. You want to sell car stuff, here's how you do it, right? So in each one of these cases, it's actually really explaining how you use their platform to make money. That's what we're going to be doing with GeniusU, even more so because we're providing some tools to manage your business, but not all the tools. As you know, a lot of the tools you kind of have to get Suraj and his team to do the services side, or you have to kind of join, Michelle's business accelerator. And then, when you do those things, you're getting guided into all of this. We want to pull more of that value into the base level of mentorship and still have these extra things for people that want to take them. But even at the base level, everyone's already got all the tools that they need. So one of the things that we're doing, and we're going to be sharing more of this as we go forward, is putting together a really, really clear pathway for, like you can see here at the bottom where it says, #1 platform for entrepreneur mentors and trainers. This is as much about it being a platform, as a training platform for people, as it is about people as entrepreneurs getting the tools they want. Is you delivering the tools in the best way. So we're kind of like saying this is like Amazon for entrepreneurs, right? And instead of buying books and shoes, you're buying mentoring and training and events. And this is about you being able to get on with what you want to get on with, because we're effectively creating GeniusU as the back end. And I want to share like the 4 things that we know you have to have that most other people do not deliver well in order to be successful as a trainer or as a mentor. When what we're really good at is digital sales and marketing. Like, how do we make sure that you can actually make the sales on an event? Or how do you make sure you're making the sales on an online product or even an offline product? And how do you make sure you've actually got really strong marketing that creates an online evergreen funnel? Every single day you've got people coming in. And while we know how to do that, and we show some people how to do that, we don't make it just a staple that every mentor gets that. And that's what we're going to be doing from like beginning of next year. We're going to be taking intakes every month where we're actually showing here's how you do this and here's how the tools work. Then how do you build a community? How do you manage your partners? And then how you automate all your payments and everything so you're not having to kind of like manage all that stuff, and everyone can then actually buy from you much, much more easily. And so on that, the first one, digital sales marketing, because there's no one else that's actually delivering a full web store, events platform, micro-degree learning platform all in one place. There's no one place that a trainer can go to and get all their tools in one place. You got to put your books on Kindle. You got to put your courses on Udemy. You got to put your events on Eventbrite. You all these different places. Whereas this is like they're all easily searchable, and people can find all of them all in one place. And then we then give you all the tools across them to run your funnels and your campaigns. So it's like, well, how do I link things to my event page? We do that really well for our events. On average, we're generating another $50,000 to $100,000 per event as a result of that digital marketing strategy. So we say, right, here's how you do it, right? Here's how you actually design it. And then we're actually giving then access to our Salesforce system that we've like invested over $500,000 in so far, for you to then actually be able to use all the tools that we use to be able to track all of your customers and be able to actually like use those same tools on Salesforce to then actually be able to access them and get to them as well. So for example, when you have someone come to an event, at the moment, we're not making it easy to actually get a list of all those people and then to send out ongoing follow-up messages and actually support them at the event as well. So those are the kind of things that we're going to be doing to actually really help you. So you effectively got a CRM, an online marketplace, a learning management system all in one place that allows you to link it all to digital marketing really easily and then track your results as you go all the way through to when people buy. I mean, even Google Analytics does not do a good job at tracking it all the way through to purchase unless you've tied it all the way into your backend and your finance system, whereas we are the finance system. So we actually track it all and then pay out to everyone as well. Similarly, on the community side, yes, we create circles at the moment, and you can actually get that circle going, but we don't actually give you the tools to easily then engage with that community. So you say, oh, look, I just got 10 new people join. What we do when people join our community is we have an automatic reply to them and say, hey, thanks so much for joining. Here's the next step. Do you want to book a call with us? And automate all of that kind of stuff. We haven't done that yet with GeniusU. We're going to do those things that allows you to then actually use it as your community builder. Facebook doesn't do it for you easily, although it's probably a better version of it. LinkedIn doesn't do it quite so well. We want to be the best at doing this. So people go, I get much better tools, just like on the event side, I get better tools. On the community side, I get better tools to actually manage the community and then grow it and then provide them with the actual invitations to then come on board and then do things with you as well. Partnership is the biggest killer for most people. When we do a new event or when we have a new product come out, we'll go to people in our community say, who wants to be a partner? The ones who want to be a partner, they all join in, and then they are the ones that actually fill up the events for us. When we have people right now using our event module, you don't get that same benefit to be able to go to everyone on the platform and say, hey, who wants to be my partner? So by us actually, again, showing you how to do that, having a proper event community or sorry, a proper mentor community where everyone can be doing that and saying, hey, I've got an opportunity, who's interested in this one? And people can then jump onto that and actually support you. You're going to have all those same tools that we do. And you're going to see all the people that are actually making money for you, how much they're making. And you can then also get out, connect with them, create your own leaderboards, all those things that we do right now, you're going to be doing them as well. And then from there, how do we track it all? Right? We use dashboards where every single week we have our flight deck. We're automating those flight decks. We're providing them to you so you can have your own flight decks, which actually then gives you all your data from basically how many new clients that you're having, how many new community members, all the way through to how much money you're making, right? And actually track all that as you go. And then we manage all of that all the way through the whole system. And some of you might even say, I am not even looking for partners to be part of my events. I'll go partner with someone else and then actually be able to track that too, right? So we're seeing already like amazing success stories. Like, Joe had $100,000 a week recently after London. We just had, an event. We just made $250,000 on the weekend just as a result of using the platform in a city, in a country that we've never run an event like the one we've run before, and that I haven't even been in China doing events for I don't know how many years. So it's so possible for everyone to be getting, provided you're building your personal brand and your company brand, to be getting the same kind of results we're getting using this system and actually doing it in the way we're talking about it. And this is much about what we're doing with the World Game, what we're doing in sport, B1G1, where at the moment a lot of the activity that's happening with B1G1 is happening as a result of Suraj and his team helping out with the whole digital marketing side within that as well, right? So we're pulling all this learning and building it down to this level, which I think is really super exciting. We're then, and this is where I get really excited, we're then going to basically have all these success stories that are going to be coming out at the end of the first quarter of next year as we're bringing these different kind of groups in as well. So I wanted to share that because I think, the more I share, and I know some people might be on this call that weren't on the last call, some might have been on the last call that are now seeing more images on what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I hope everyone can see the potential of what we're doing by really creating in GeniusU the Amazon for entrepreneurs, where everyone that's in it can actually see a future where if anyone's looking for ongoing lifelong learning, whether they're in Genius School as a kid, whether they're kind of getting out of a job, trying to figure out the next step, that by coming here, just like people go to Amazon today, and it's just a given that if you want to buy a product, you go to Amazon. Well, if you want to buy an entrepreneurial service, you come to GeniusU, right? And that's really kind of like where we're positioning ourselves. And then all the AI, all the Genius stuff, all of that then supplements that and makes it even more powerful off the back of that too. Okay, that's time. I'm going to stop sharing now and hand it back to you, Michelle.
Wow, it's so cool showing everybody that. I know that's the people who come to the GeniusU annual conference are going to be the first group of mentors that we're actually going to take through this program and this process. So if you're thinking about coming to the conference and you were thinking about booking in and you want to be one of the first group of mentors that we take through that, because we're going to have like 30 mentors that we take through it in January. And then every month we'll take a group of mentors through who will apply to go on that. So we'll actually have a wait list of mentors wanting to go through that full program with those 4 pillars where we train you and handhold you through that entire process. So you can actually start to see at least $1,000 of a month of revenue coming through on Genius U, and some of you a lot more, then definitely make sure you're booking in for the conference. I've put the link there in the chat as well. So that's where we're going to show you everything, unveil it all, show you all the dev side, show you what it's going to look like, and get you guys actually starting and coming with us in January. So it's very, very exciting times. Looking forward to showing that with the board of advisors tomorrow and seeing what they think as well. Thanks to everyone who's being on this call. Thanks, Roger, for linking that really nicely from getting your own personal brand set up to everything we're going to be doing in these next few months as well. We'll see you next week, where we're going to be looking at our next part, which I think is going to be our product brand, because we're going to have the web store ready for you to put your products on. I'm testing it today, so I'll let you know. All right, you guys, have a good week. See you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye. Yeah.